look at the technology, try to understand it, and fall in love with it.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel Ago, I'm a journalist for The Next Big Idea. We are in another edition of Web Summit on the center stage, talking with companies and investors in a partnership with the European Investment Fund. This time we have with us Pedro Ribeiro Santos, partner at Armilar, and Luís Bathalha, co-founder of Amplemarket. Thank you both for being here with us.
Pleasure.
Pedro, I'll start with you. With a track record of 25 years of experience, Armilar is probably the most well-established VC manager in Portugal and one of the leading deep tech investors in Europe. In a nutshell, how would you describe Armilar's strategy and mission?
Well, in a nutshell, we're really strong believers of working alongside technically oriented founders from very early stage and support them in their journey as they transform their technology into a successful, global, impactful business. In a nutshell, that's it.
Yeah, Armilar Venture Partners 4 aims at becoming the largest VC fund ever raised by a Portuguese team. What can you tell us about the strategy of this new fund and how does it differ from the previous fund invested by the EIF and the BPF under Portugal Tech?
Okay. Well, look, it's essentially about doing more of what we've done well. We've done several good things in the past. The track record is quite good. So we want to do more at a larger scale, obviously. And this is, like I said, it's about investing in startups from the early stages that have a strong or a high technology content. All of us in the investment team have a background in engineering or science, so we sort of speak the same language and are able to work alongside them. But then taking the whole journey from the very early stage to late stages that we've done on several occasions on this journey. And with this new fund, that indeed it is sizable for, well, it's sizable for Europe standards, for European standards. It's certainly very sizable for Portuguese standards. We aim to continue doing that, taking to the next level. So essentially, this will be more oriented towards doing Series A investments, so companies that already have a little bit of revenue, and still reserving capacity to do follow-on investments into these companies as they become very, very large and successful.
Yeah. Luís is the founder of Amplemarket, one of the investees of Armilar. Give us a little bit of context. What is Amplemarket, and how did Armilar help you delivering your vision?
Absolutely. So Amplemarket is basically a platform that helps sales teams find and then connect with their next customers using AI. And sales is a really interesting problem because in order to be good at sales, you need a combination of really good data-driven intelligence, and this is the kind of realm where AI can really help. So sales reps need to understand for a specific company, like what are the signals that allow them to understand this is the right time to reach out to this company, this is the right message, this is the right person that I should be reaching out, and combine all these pieces of information, and AI can really help here. But at the same time, you really need also good human intelligence, building rapport, creating trust with a prospect. And so we believe that the future of sales is going to be, it's not going to be AI versus human, but it's going to be AI and human. Sales reps are not going to be replaced by AI, but they will be replaced by sales reps using AI. And Armilar really believed in this vision, and they've been helping us since the Series A grow the team and execute on this vision. We also believe that in order to do so, you need to have an all-in-one platform in order to really use AI as a long lever to help sales teams, and Armilar has been a great partner since our Series A to execute on this vision.
Since you last spoke to The Next Big Idea 1 year ago, Amplemarket has seen significant growth. What is your recipe for success?
So for us, like since last year, is super interesting because, as we were talking, I think AI has the potential here to really disrupt the sales tech space. And as founders, we feel that. We feel the power of disruption. So we've been really close to the trenches. We've been almost famous founder mode since the past 12 months, really focused on making something people want and being close to customers and really executing on this vision. Another interesting thing that I think has been really useful for us in terms of executing on that path to success is like our sales team uses Amplemarket to sell Amplemarket. So we can really create this feedback loop where if we are better at selling Amplemarket, the product becomes better and our customers benefit from it. So that is almost a cheat code that we've been using, but that has been instrumental for our success as well.
Yes, yes. Pedro, what qualities do you look for in startups that would make them suitable candidates for Armilar? And how can these companies get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, I'll start with the last part. That's easy. We're very approachable. I mean, all our profiles are very accessible. We have on the website all the indications and a way to submit application. Of course, be aware that we're very, of course, very selective in the investments that we do. But to the first part of your question, what we look for is we normally start with technology. We're technologists ourselves, so we look at the technology, try to understand it, and fall in love with it as something that has the potential to grow and become successful and global and impactful, like I said. And then from then we start looking into, okay, what is the business potential? What are we looking for as a potential size for the company? In the process, which is a process that takes a few weeks, a couple of months, we're really getting to know the people. And I know it sounds like cliche, but the team is the most important factor every time. So if we could clone this guy and his co-founders, that would be awesome. But every time, the most successful companies that we've had in our 25-year-old history is founders that have a very strong technology acumen and knowledge and domain knowledge, a good business acumen as well and sensitivity, but most of all, that are very resilient. I mean, we're talking always several years of development. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be issues. There's going to be problems. There's going to be successes and not so successes, and they will need to be resilient and face that. And we're of course we're there to help in any way that we can. But that's a fundamental characteristic, and of course, and then it needs to be people that we can relate to in terms of the ethos, the way of working, the integrity that we look for, because we are going to be working alongside as partners for many years. Lasts longer than many marriages. So we are in fact getting married to the founder that we're backing. So that relationship, that rapport needs to exist very, very strongly.
Yeah. While raising a much larger fund, which type of investors are you targeting?
Yeah, that's a good question because, to be honest, there is not in Portugal enough capacity to support a fund like ours. So there's not in the fund from the perspective of people that invest in funds. There's not enough capacity locally, and so raising a fund of this size necessarily leads us to go internationally. Now, the EIF, of course, has played a critical role. It's played already in the previous fund. It's playing again in this fund. They're an anchor investor that is very, very important. But beyond that, we need to match the EIF funding with other private investors. Having a fund of a larger size gives us access to institutional investors that would not normally want to invest in a small fund because they want to deploy, significant amounts of money, and they don't want to hold 50% of the fund. So that gives us access, along with the track record. That gives us access, and so we're talking larger funds of funds internationally, corporate investors, family office, so institutional investors that have the knowledge, the tradition, the allocation of their assets, with already an allocation to VC, that know about VC, that are educated about venture capital, and are able to deploy. Having said that, Portugal remains relatively exotic as a destination for investing from these international investors, so it continues to be challenging for Portuguese funds to raise.
One more question. Did the renewed trust of the European Investment Fund help in your fundraising efforts?
Absolutely. So the IF is, by far the largest investor in funds in Europe, the most experienced one. So they've had exposure to almost every fund in Europe. They practically define the market standards, and they define the standards of due diligence. So what they look at when they evaluate a potential fund to invest in goes very, very deep. So it's not just the thesis, the geography. It goes, okay, well, who are the team? What's the succession plan? How is the incentives? Are the incentives aligned? In depth. What is the deal flow that can feed this fund potentially? So it goes very much in depth. So from the point that EIF has cleared that hurdle and they've made a commitment to that fund, that sends a very strong signal to other institutional investors that, okay, this fund is okay to invest in. Now, do I like it or not? Do I want to invest? That's another story. But at least from the due diligence perspective, it's cleared. So that is a very strong signal that in the IF is, and let's be honest, if it wasn't for the IF in Europe and in particular in Portugal, many of the smaller and emerging fund managers would not have a business.
Pedro, Luís, thank you so much for being here
Thank
with
you.
us.
A pleasure.